280 SL market. Going soft or going strong? I have been getting some interesting inquiries lately about 280 SLs. And actually, I probably should title this the Pagoda Market because it's relevant to really all pagodas. It affects all of them in some way, shape, or form. And one thing that I have to emphasize is that this is a market that will always be changing and is not necessarily going to be the same one day to the next. So I believe that there are some changes under development in the pagoda market, and it simply stems from buyers being pickier and people wanting cars that are better. What happened from like 2010 to 2016 in the pagoda market was that you had a lot of really average cars selling for above average prices, and what has happened to all these average cars is that they're now being recognized as average cars, or even in this case below average cars, and taking a beating in the marketplace. I don't advocate for people purchasing a pagoda that's not in super good shape and then making it into a restored car if the car is I have to say this, if the car has already been taken apart piece by piece, has had a color change, has been, hit in 4 different places, bondoed back together, and retains none of its originality, whose engine bay is a mess, etc., etc. But we saw a lot of cars like this, which I call hot rod shop restorations, selling for stupid money. Some of these cars were selling for $90,000 or $100,000. Now, if you buy a car that needs a paint job, for $50,000 or $60,000, and you want to do some chrome work and it's a solid car in desirable colors, by all means, do it. Likewise, if the car is really good mechanically, if it's got relatively low mileage, if it's got beautiful original leather seats, if every single part of the car is there, if you've got your original doors and hood and everything, by all means do it. But if you've got a car that's been put together from 4 other cars, ugh. And these are the cars that are really suffering in the marketplace. But what I have noticed is because of the prices getting softer for subpar 280 SLs, it seems like the prices of solid original cars have stabilized in like the $55,000 to $60,000 range, and then prices for really solid restored cars have gone maybe from like $200,000 or $175,000 down to like $130,000, $150,000. And I'm talking about a car where everything is done right, where you pop the hood in the car, and the car is the right amount of restored and original. Like you have all your correct components under the hood, but they're yellow zinc plated. You have your original leather, but it's not ripped up or falling apart. You maybe have repainted the car, but it is in a correct, exact, it's in the color that the car came in, and it's painted correctly without any shortcuts. You may have had to put new fenders in the car, but you made sure to spot weld them on like they're supposed to be. So, these cars still perform pretty well in the marketplace, but I think the interesting part is how this has affected 230 and 250 SL prices. Because now, if you want a solid original Pagoda, you don't have to wait in line for a $60,000 or $70,000 230 SL that might be a little overpriced. Now you can go get a decent, solid, drivable 230 that may need some work for like $30,000 to $40,000, and you may also be able to get a really nice restored 230 for like $65,000, $70,000, maybe even $75,000 that's had an extremely nice cosmetic and mechanical restoration. So these are good things. This is a home run for people that have been wanting a Pagoda but didn't want to pay $150,000 or $190,000 or even $85,000 or $90,000 for an automatic 230. Now this may change going forward, but the really nice thing about the Pagoda SLs is they're such good usable cars that it's nice and people can afford them who want to use them and drive them. Now, one area where I don't think the market has been affected so much is for original, well-preserved, low-mileage cars. If you have a ZF 5-speed 230 SL with an original condition without any paint work or body work, $300,000 is not a strong ask. If you have an original 280 SL that's got low mileage, it's like an automatic spec US car that's like white with blue interior, you still might be in $135,000, $140,000 territory on the right day. Now, the Monterey auctions are probably going to tell us a lot more, but there's a button on the side there, but Monterey Car Week is no longer the end-all be-all, because I think that there's so many costs involved that the costs actually act as a deterrent. We do know that the prices on the West Coast tend to be like 25 to 30% stronger than East Coast prices most of the time. Anyway, this video is meant to encourage you to keep looking for a Pagoda SL. I wouldn't say that these cars have necessarily gotten cheaper and expensive. They're never, a decent 280 SL is not going to be a $35,000 car again. A perfectly cosmetically restored 230 SL is not going to be a $45,000 car again, at least in the foreseeable future. But, decent driver level examples that may need some work are back within reach of individuals who want to own one of these cars and are somewhat handy. Anyway, in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you already own a Pagoda SL, more power to you. And remember that these markets change all the time. So in 10 years, these cars can be shooting up again, specifically because they're not making anymore, and they're gorgeous cars that have an immense amount of sex appeal. So keep that in mind. Anyway, take care. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers especially. And enjoy whatever Mercedes Benz you have.